Hello everyone, let's continue and understand another important command. Another important command is ln command. So that's an important command. This command is basically used to make links between files. So there are two types of link we have. One is your hard link, another one is your soft link. So we need to understand what is link and what is the difference between hard and soft link. We know that in a Linux box we have a lot of files are there. So what is the use of creating the links? So all these things we are going to understand in this lecture. So first understand what is hard link. Hard link act as a mirror copy of the original file. These links share the same inode numbers. So what is inode number? An inode number is an entry, we can say, in the inode table. Or we can say that any file you are going to create, anything you are going to do in the Linux box, any file you are going to create, any directory, that file or directory is always associated with the number, or we can say the index number, that is called inode number. In a file we can see there a lot of attributes are there. We can see the file type, the permissions are there, the UID, the group ID, the size of the file, the timestamp, all the information. So where does it keep all the information? So all those informations of a file is always keep in a inode index, that is your inode number. So if I am here and I am giving lsf and ltr, you can see a lot of files are there. And let me go inside this. I can see few files are there. If I am using I with the same command, I can see a unique number started showing there. So these are the numbers. Any file, all the file is having one index number or inode number. So coming back to my this. So hard link act as a mirror copy of the original file. These links share the same inode number. Changes made to the original or hard link file will reflect in the other. So if you are doing to any changes, anything in the any file of that, it will reflect to the other file. You can delete hard link, nothing will happen to the other file. Hard links cannot created across the file system. So this is one disadvantage. So let me come here and I'm going to create a hard link here. So first I'm going to create a file. I have created a file named John. Let me put some content here. This is a test file. Now you can see that the John is having a inode number, this one. Okay, now I'm going to create a hard link. Suppose the size of this file is 1 GB. Okay, I'm just taking an example. Okay, now I'm going to create another file, another hard link of this file, we can say that. So John and John hard. Now you can see that both John and John hard has been created and both having the same inode number. You can see that. It means that although the name is different, John and John hard, but both are pointing to the same inode number. If you are going to do any changes in this file, let me show the content. The content would be same here. If you are going to edit any file, like I am going to put anything on this file, it will be reflecting to the other file. Okay, now I'm going to cat this John hard like this way. You can see the file started reflecting to other file as well. If I'm going to put anything on the John, it will be reflecting to the John dash hard as well. So what is the benefit of that? Why we are creating the hard link? Suppose I have this file John, okay, and I want to create a backup of this file. Suppose the size of this file is 1 GB. If I am going to copy this file, copy John and put it in some other location on the same location with John copy, something like that, what will happen at the system end? It will take a space of 1 more GB. So total space will be occupied on your system would be 2 GB. If I am taking the backup of this file, simply I am using copy command. But if you are going to create the hard link, although we have the backup of the file, if anybody is going to delete any of the file, we have the backup. And in actual, it is taking the space of only 1 GB because the inode is same. Suppose here I am going to copy John and John copy. So what will happen here? Here you can see that we have the 3 copy, John copy and John hard. So John and John hard is the hard link, and John copy is the copy backup. So here what will happen, this file John copy would have the different inode number. So in actual you can see that John copy is having some different inode number. So it is taking another 1 GB space for the system. So that's the benefit of your hard link. So if you are going to create hard link, so in actual it would be pointing to the same inode number and taking the space of your one file only. And if you are going to delete this one, John main file, it will not affect your another file. You can still copy this, see the content of John hard, right? Another way is the soft link. Soft link is an actual link to the original file. It is just like, if you compare it with the Windows, it is just like shortcut. Suppose we have some important file at the D drive, some movie, suppose I have a movie of 2 GB and I want to put a shortcut at the desktop. So what I can do, I can simply right click and create shortcut at the desktop. So it's just like a link. If you are going to delete the link at the main file, it doesn't affect. But if your main file is deleted, that is in your D drive, your movie has been deleted and link is there that is placed on your desktop, if you click the link, it will not work because your main file has been deleted. So with soft link, what will happen, it will create a different inode number. So how we can do that? Suppose I am in this location and suppose I have a file, I am going to create another file, touch, I am going to create a file Vivek. So I have created a file Vivek. Now I want to create a link, and this can be created across the file system as well. Suppose I have a different file system. This is my one file system. This is my another file system. Suppose I have a file that is placed in this file system or a DB, and I can create the link into /boot as well. So benefit is that, suppose let me first understand how we can do it. So it's very simple. ln-s you have to use here, Vivek, and the link name soft. Now it has been created now. So this is my soft link and this is the main file. So if you are going to cat this file Vivek soft, here what will happen, it will show the content of your Vivek. But if somebody has deleted your Vivek, your main file has been deleted now, and if you are trying to you can see the red is coming here. If you are trying to open this Vivek soft, it will say that no such file directory because main file has been deleted, right? And both your soft link and your main file is having a different inode number. So that's the basic difference. So one advantage of your soft link is that it can be created into across the file system. Suppose I have to create a file, I have to put some file in / or a DB, but suppose I do not have space in this file system. Suppose this file system is already occupied, 100% occupied, and I need some urgent file, one big file I need that would be size of, say for example, 100 GB file, but I do not have space in my file system. Then how we can do that? So in that case, we can do one thing. Suppose we have the space in some other file system. Suppose I have another file system /boot, and in that file system I have a lot of space. So I can put that file, 100 GB file, in this file system, and simply I can create a link to this file system. So what will happen here, the link doesn't have much space, it will simply hide, the size would be in bytes. So anybody can, use that file as a link. So if you click the link, the main file will be opened there. Like if you compare with Windows, if you have file in the desktop, so we can say, if you have the file in D drive, we will simply create the link at the desktop. If you create the link from desktop, the file will be, main file will be open here. So my condition is that I want some main file should be there only, but we do not have a space. In that case, we can create the link in this location. So that's the benefit of soft link. And soft link can be created across the file system. Across the file system means I have different file system. But one disadvantage with hard link cannot be created across the file system. If I have the file system, I have the hard link, I can be created inside the / or a DB. I cannot create a hard link like if one should be in this file system, another should be in another file system. So that is not possible with the hard link. So these are the benefits we have with the links. So friend, that's all for this lecture. Hope you have understand what are the different commands and how we can use those commands to, administer your Linux box. So thanks for watching, and if you have time, please join with me in the next lecture.